Hey everyone, Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Wanted to send out a Thanksgiving message. And joining me today is Police Chief Steve Hebbe. Mr. Hebbe, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate being here.
You know, there's a lot of things that I'm thankful for. And Chief, I have to tell you, I'm thankful for your police department and for your leadership here in the community. 2020 has obviously been a very challenging year. I remember back in April sending out a message to the community saying, isn't this the strangest month of our entire lives? And here we are now, 8-9 months rolling. And
That month lasted like 4 years.
That's right. And then there's just this Groundhog Day effect that I know people keep talking about of every day we're waking up. But anyways, I digest.
But that was a great movie. Groundhog Day was a great movie. So maybe this weekend, holiday weekend, plug it in. Bill Murray's great.
Yeah. Well, it's about family. Thanksgiving's about family. And I know that maybe less family gathering around the table this year. It doesn't mean I'm not going to cook a full feast, to feed 50 people, but there'll be less people there. And I think it's interesting, the innovation that people have kind of worked together in ways to still connect, even if you're away from them. Normally I would be in Denver next week and spending time with my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews. But this year maybe we'll use Zoom to do the feast.
Yep, that's right.
Just finding ways to stay connected, I think, is what's really important. When you think about Thanksgiving as a kid and somebody who grew up in the Midwest, what's some of the best memories you've had?
It was still deer hunting season for us. It'd be the second weekend of deer hunting season in Wisconsin. And we'd be out hunting over that week. And then we were generally up at my grandma's house celebrating the day and watching football. The Packers were on a bunch. Of course, the greatest franchise in NFL history played on Thanksgiving. So I was thankful for that.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be thankful for.
Yes.
That's great. Well, this year will be different memories, but certainly it'll be a Thanksgiving that we'll never forget. But I just wanted to take a moment and just say how much I appreciate this community. I think what I've learned more about Farmington in 2020 is their ability to come together to support each other. I think it's important for people to know that even within the city organization, and that organization is a very broad organization with police and fire and public works and finance and legal and parks and electric and water utility. All these individuals who work for this organization are as dedicated today as they were last year in making sure they're providing the best services possible for the taxpayers and the residents, recognizing that this is a place where 300,000 people come on a weekly basis for services and to see family and to travel. And so it's important for people to know how much we push here locally within this organization to ensure we're running efficiently, that those services that you want, that the public wants, are being taken care of. And a lot of that, of course, comes from leadership, within the police department and other agencies. So that's why I brought you on.
Well, I appreciate it. I think this year more than most years, people have been right through the years to ask, what do I get for my tax dollars? Where do my tax dollars go? What am I really getting out of it? And this year, I think it stands stark of what you get for your government. Because in the middle of this pandemic, in the middle of rioting and protesting across the country, in the middle of a contentious election, you still had all your government workers showing up, doing their job, keeping our community safe, keeping our community running. And then when you branch it out to what kind of a community we have here in San Juan County, all your healthcare workers that show up to the hospital every day, your folks that are on the front lines showing up and being clerks in stores so that people can still get food. When you look at what a great community we have, it's tough not to be thankful, even though it's been a difficult year. That's oftentimes when you really see the value of things, and you really, I always took that for granted. I don't take going to the store for granted anymore. There's people that are in there doing a tough job, putting themselves at risk, so that I can still go and get the necessary supplies to feed my family. So I really appreciate Farmington. I appreciate you being mayor and the leadership during very difficult times. This is when we need good leaders, and frankly, you've stepped up. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, I thank you for that. And this community deserves good leadership, and I felt that way prior to running for city council. And the reason I believe that is really shown itself again this year. The level-headedness of individuals and the common sense component. I believe that this community understands what's happening, and they're taking necessary precautions to ensure their safety and the safety of those around them. And we have to continue doing those things. There's a lot of information that's available out there of what the vaccine is going to look like, how it's going to be rolled out. New Mexico, of course, is one of 4 states that's going to be able to do a test trial of that vaccine. That's exciting news for us. But those things are still coming down the road, and we still have to find a way to live every single day and go to work or be able to take care of our families or have our kids in virtual school, things that you wouldn't have necessarily thought of in 2019. But those things are happening now, and we've found ways to manage that and work with it. And I think there's some exciting and positive components even in the midst of all of this.
There is. I think the adaptability of San Juan County and Farmington, but just of the American public, has been really interesting too this year. I still don't like Zoom meetings to this day, but it's amazing how many Zoom meetings I now do. And it wasn't something a year ago. We just didn't do those things.
Wow.
We physically traveled all over the place. There was a George Clooney movie, Up in the Air, where he flies around, and then they tried to get him to do it by Zoom. If you remember, it was maybe a decade ago. Actually, that's what we're all doing right now. We're having meetings by computer all the time. We've really adapted. We continue to thrive and be productive, and we've overcome. So I'm thankful for that.
Well, Thanksgiving is normally that time of year where my family gets together. We have the meal, and then immediately people break out the newspaper ads and figure out where they're going to go shopping. There was a time when you couldn't shop on Thanksgiving, but now midnight right after Thanksgiving dinner, well, even during Thanksgiving, I think you can probably go shopping now. That's not the case this year. Curbside is going to be the king going forward. But I want to make sure people know that we have a Facebook page where we've brought together all the local businesses that we can find. And so if you're a local business watching this, please clue in. Shop local, Farmington, San Juan County. It's a long phrase, but shop local being the key word. And bring your business to the table, so to speak, within this Facebook page so people can find like a one-stop shop of things that are happening within local businesses so that they can support them. So again, shop local, Farmington, San Juan County. This is an initiative between the Chamber of Commerce and the City of Farmington. So this, we're just trying to provide that platform so we can support local business. So now we'll pull out Facebook after we eat and be like, oh, we need to go check these businesses out. Also, lots of good information coming up about Christmas events. Mm-hmm. Again, going to be different this year. The Festival of Trees, we've got some fun things coming out that people are going to enjoy online. But these are we're all trying to find ways to still come together, to still celebrate, the reasons for the season, so to speak. And we're going to find a way to do that. So that's the great thing about where we live. And people still value those components.
No, that's right. And this is the time of year where we've had such a year of division in our country that this is the time of year when we're reminded we should be coming together, when we should be thankful for the great place we live, the great people we're living around. Even when we disagree, those disagreements don't end in big bloody wars like what you see in other countries. This country, it ends in elections, and it ends in us moving together and celebrating the holidays together. So, I think it's a great time of year. I always like the holiday season from Thanksgiving through the New Year, and I think we're entering a good time.
I agree. Well, Chief, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that. And thank you to all of you who've tuned in, and we just send our best wishes out to you and your families. Good food that fills your table, good health as you work hard, and good times, I think, is the key for this time of year. Stay tuned. Obviously, always more information coming from the City of Farmington and from the mayor's tables. And also, I know you do a lot of things. So we got Baxter now.
We got Baxter. Baxter on patrol. Keep following him. And to your organization, Guardians of the Good. Yes, sir.
That will be, that's also something that we'll start seeing some more on, correct?
It is. December 16th, we're accepting nominations through December 16th. We are accepting donations, anyone that wants to support, so that we can do more good and get out and meet more people. But that's a great charity that recognizes just our average citizens here in town.
Yeah. Well, we're thankful for our charities, that's for sure, and the volunteers. A lot of places right now where you can go pick up food if you're in need of food. For individuals who are out cleaning up our parks and assisting our parks and recreation group and keeping those places clean. We're very thankful for you. And I don't want to forget this either, because I'm thankful for a lot of things, but our schools and our teachers, finding a way to adapt in the midst of this. I hear a lot of stories from folks whose kids may be struggling. I think the learning curve is getting better now, and kids are going through. But my son's teachers have done a great job, and appreciative of them as well as my daughter. So thank you for what you're doing out there. All right, Chief. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
All right.